19-year-old Ashley Miller is suing her aunt, Shauna Miller, for repossessing her car. Shauna claims Ashley didn't abide by the terms of their agreement.
Okay, very complicated story. Let me see if I can simplify it because it's getting late in the afternoon and I'm getting a little tired. This is your aunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Who did a very nice thing for you several months ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And agreed to purchase a car. She was primarily responsible on the loan. You were a co-signer on the loan because you didn't have good credit.
Yes, ma'am.
You went shopping. You put $1,000 of your hard-earned money down on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave your aunt $1,000 towards insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car did you buy?
It was a 2007 Hyundai Accent.
And it was brand new.
Yes. Only had 5 miles on it.
And when did you purchase it?
February 8th.
And the understanding was that you were going to make the payments on the car and eventually, hopefully, get the loan out of your aunt's name because she didn't want to be responsible for this thing. And you were going to take care of the car, and there were certain things that you were supposed to be responsible with.
Yes, ma'am, after 6 months.
And your aunt took the car back after 2 months.
Correct.
You want the money that you invested in the car, and you want $600 back for the insurance that wasn't used because she took the car back. So you want back $1,600. Your aunt says that you were irresponsible with the car. In the 2 months that you had the car, you put on how many miles?
3,400.
3,400 miles. Where did you go for 3,400 miles?
Well, I went back and forth to work, and I did go over to my friend's house. I went over to their house because they asked me to come visit them every day. So I tried. I went back and forth to school every day after work because I go to school 4 days a week.
Where do you work?
Oh.
In what country? Now, did you loan the car to anyone?
No, ma'am.
Did you make any long trips?
I did one long trip, and that was to West Virginia.
From where?
From my house.
Which is where?
Maryland.
Who did you go with?
I went with my 2 sisters because they were up here visiting from Florida.
Did they ever drive your car?
No, ma'am.
Was there any damage to the car?
No, ma'am, not when I had it.
When did you take the car back, Miss Miller?
May 4th.
So she had the car 3 months?
Close to, yes.
Why did you take the car back?
Well, one of the agreements was that she was to stay in touch with us. She was not to have anybody in the car. She was on our insurance because the insurance was in excess to what she could afford. So we turned around.
Just a minute. Did you have an agreement with her that there wasn't to be anyone else in the car?
Prior to signing of anything, yes. I've had the same agreements. I've got my daughter here, Sherry, who is under the same agreement with a car that we have. And also with my other children. I have a 30-year-old son and a 28-year-old daughter. I've done it with all of them. You know, with the same agreements. I know, good heart, but you know what? It builds character and shows them responsibility. And yeah, I've been batting.
Do you have an agreement with your aunt not to have anyone else in the car?
No, ma'am.
What was the discussion that you had with regard to having other people in the car?
No, ma'am. The only agreement that we had with the car was not to let anybody drive the car and to make sure I make the payments on the car, and that was it.
Not to let anybody else drive it?
Yes, to drive it. That was it.
I believe you.
That was it.
I believe you.
Thank you.
I believe her. Because I think it's ridiculous to have an agreement that nobody else can be in the car.
Well, okay.
I believe that you made an agreement with her that nobody else was to drive the car.
Well, actually, well, okay.
But not be in the car. That sounds unreasonable for somebody who's making payments on the car, who's given you the down payment and paid for the insurance. The insurance may not cover anybody else driving the car,
Right.
but certainly being a passenger in the car. Why not? Keep going. So, she didn't keep in touch with you, and?
She didn't keep in touch, and when I tried to call her, she was avoiding the calls. I had to go through my father-in-law to call her to call back. My husband and I went up to her place of employment to where we looked at the car. There was dents, 4 of them, going down this way, not like a car had opened and hit it. The dents were going this way. And
you have pictures of the dents?
Oh,
that
I
you're
do,
talking
yes.
about? I'd like to see the dents that you're talking about.
This is the car. Dents. I've got an estimate also.
No, I don't need an estimate.
Okay, that's the dents.
Those are dings. There's a ding. It's a ding. It's nothing. You had no right to take the car back.
Okay.
So your counterclaim's dismissed because you're counterclaiming. You say you're now stuck with a car.
Hold on, Your Honor.
I didn't ask you anything. You're now stuck with a car that has 3,400 miles on it. It's depreciated. Well, you know, as soon as you drive a car out of a lot, it depreciates. But as long as she was making the payments, was she?
Yes, she was.
And she paid for the insurance.
Yes, she did.
The car looks perfectly good shape to me. It may have a couple of dings on it. That's unfortunate. But that doesn't look as if it's been in an accident. You had no mileage requirements. You have no basis to take the car back. Yes?
We did have mileage requirements, and the reason why she wasn't allowed to...
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. We made an agreement with her.
Show me it written down someplace that you had a mileage agreement with her.
It was to keep the value of the car up.
Show me where you have an agreement with her that you have a
ma'am.
mileage agreement.
It was a verbal agreement.
Baloney.
Just like the part with
Baloney.
the insurance.
Baloney.
Until she got it in her own name or her own insurance, she
Baloney.
wasn't
You had no
supposed to have
reason to
anybody
take the
in
car.
it.
Don't speak to me anymore. You had no reason to take the car back. Unfortunately, Miss Miller, you did a very nice thing for your niece.
I thought so.
You probably had second thoughts about it, but you didn't have a basis to breach the agreement and take the car back, her money, or you give her the car back. What's your pleasure?
Can I say something
Sure.
real quick? She assured me that no drinking, no partying, and everything else, and she was drinking and she was partying, but, you know.
Well, show me proof that she was drinking in the car.
Oh, I can't show you
drinking
proof.
and driving.
No.
So,
Okay.
that's what you need. You need proof. Put your hand
Okay.
down. That's what you need. You need proof.
Okay.
Where's the car now?
In my yard.
You want your car back?
Can I speak?
Yes.
The whole drinking thing has nothing to do with it because I didn't do it when I was driving. And the car they gave to her daughter after they took the car from me. After like a week went by and they called me and told me, asked me if I want the car back. And I said no because they already took the car. And after that, I felt like, you know, since they took it from me once, they would do it again.
Did you get another car?
No.
How many miles are on the car now?
There's quite a bit.
What do you mean quite a bit? There was 3,400 miles when you took it. How many miles are on
Well,
the car
I
now?
drove it back and forth to work myself, and my daughter's driving. Okay.
You owe her $1,600. You had no basis to take the car back.
Can I get her to sign off on this title, or how do I have to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can get her to sign off on the title as soon as you get the bank to release her from the loan. Why would I have her sign the title off until you can get her off on the loan?
Okay, I can, yes.
Okay, so we'll cut an order that as soon as you get her off on the loan, she's going to sign off on the title, right?
Yes,
you don't want
ma'am.
the title in your name?
Nope, ma'am.
Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff, the amount of $1,600.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
Roberta Schumann is suing her ex-boyfriend, Scott Beer, for a loan to buy a Harley-Davidson. Scott says Roberta stopped paying rent, so he owes her nothing.
Ms. Schumann, Mr. Beer and you were in a relationship for a period of time. You also lived with him for a period of time in his home. You claim that you made a loan to him so that he... Now, Mr. Beer acknowledges that you made this loan to him.
Correct.
He says that subsequently you moved in with him and you agreed to pay rent, which you didn't pay.
Correct.
And you made a new arrangement whereby he would pay your portion of the rent that you had agreed to pay and deduct that from the loan. And by the time he told you to leave, you had done several things. First, you stole a money jar from him, which you acknowledged that you did because you were annoyed. And then there were some other small items that ate into this loan. But you claim that there was never an agreement with regard to the rent in exchange for the loan.
That is correct.
Okay. On what date did you make the loan?
Well, there was two. There was 2 dates. One was 11.
One right after the other. I know. Give me the 2 dates.
Like April. April of 2007.
And when did you move in with Mr. Beer?
May 15th.
Right afterwards.
Yes.
Where had you been living?
I lived in my own townhouse in Blaine.
What did you do with your townhouse?
I sold it. I found out 3 days before I was moving in with Mr. Beer that he was sleeping with my best friend.
I don't care about that. You want to discuss that, go someplace else. That has nothing to do with me. You sold your townhouse, you moved in with him. What was the rent agreement?
$300 per person is what he charged his other tenants when they lived there before. It was a couple. He charged them $600.
And how much were you supposed to pay in rent?
He assumed $600.
No. What did you discuss?
It was $600 when my son was supposed to come and live with us. My son never came and lived with us. I never even had a key to the door.
I don't care whether you had a key to the door. You slept there, correct?
Correct.
And there was an agreement to pay rent. All I'm trying to do is figure out how much. How much, sir?
$600 for the basement.
Is that where she was living?
Yep.
She wasn't staying with you?
Most of the time.
What does that mean?
Off and on, she'd stay up in my place. But I mean, it was run of the house, too.
Where were her clothes?
In the basement.
Is it a legal apartment in the basement?
Yeah, it's a regular house.
And you had a couple there living before?
Yes.
And how much was the rent before?
$600.
Okay.
Your Honor.
What?
There was also an extra bedroom downstairs in the basement that was never used while I lived there.
I don't care. I mean, I didn't get a legitimate answer from you, so I asked him. Okay. So you moved in May 13th, is that correct?
Yes.
How much was the loan for the motorcycle?
$3,100.
Okay, now you stole $100 from him in coins, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so now he owes you $3,000. You moved in on May 13th. When did you pay rent for the first time?
The actual, when I gave him the lump sum, I gave him $1,700 in July, and then 3 days after that, I gave him $600 for the rent that he claims.
Just a second. You gave him $3,000 according to you for the motorcycle. I have deducted the $100 that you stole from him. You moved in May 13th. When did you pay rent for the first time? What month?
It would have been June, but my account closed.
So did you or did you not pay rent for June?
I did in July.
How many months did you live there?
Half of May, June, July. I moved out August.
When you moved out, did you take all your property?
No, I did not.
What property did you leave there?
My kitchen table, everything furnished his house. If I would have known...
Listen to me. Downstairs, in the basement, what items of furniture did you leave there?
A bed, a couch, and a TV.
Under what circumstances did you leave that stuff?
Because he threw me out. I had no key to the house. He threw me out. The end of August, I packed my bag. I stayed with a friend in Minneapolis.
Until when?
Until November 12th was when I moved out. I had surgery on my leg, November 10th.
Okay. Did you subsequently rent the basement to your townhouse?
I didn't rent my basement until January, I think, the first time I had somebody come in.
And when did you move out, Miss Beer? August what?
August 24th is when he bought the house.
So you owe him for 3.5 months' rent.
But he told me that my stuff was there in storage. If I wanted to, I could have put it in a storage, which was $85 a month.
I don't care if it was 80. I said you owe him so far 3.5 months' rent for the time you were living there. Half of May, June, July, and August. That's 3.5 months that you didn't pay. Or
Yes,
did you
I did.
pay?
Yes, I did, in July.
Did you pay him in July?
Yes, I did.
Did the check clear?
It was money orders that I had because he would only accept cash, which I agreed with that.
Well, because you gave him a bad check once.
It was a closed account.
Well, a closed account is a bad check. Did she subsequently pay you?
I have never seen that.
You've
Any
never
money?
seen the cash.
No, I
Okay,
did not.
so show me. Don't talk
Oh,
to
my
him.
God.
Talk to me. Show me what you claim you paid him for July.
July 24th, I paid him $1,700 cash because he said that these checks, which he had reserved
Show me.
one, I had cash. He wouldn't take anything but cash. And then 3 days later, I paid him for August rent, which was $600.
Did you own a townhouse?
Yes.
You're a businesswoman.
Yes,
If you
I'm
own
a
a
real
townhouse,
estate
then you're a businesswoman. If you're a real estate agent and things aren't going well, then you don't give him cash. I don't believe that you gave him cash without a receipt. Did you get a receipt?
No, I did not.
Yeah, then I don't believe you.
I had a check that was revolving. This was my business account.
I don't believe you. You're a businesswoman, a real estate agent. Real estate agents don't pay cash for their rent, especially when they write out a check for a closed account. They may pay rent, and then they say, may I have a receipt, please, because I need that for my records.
Well, every single day that I came home, he would lock the door because I didn't have a key.
Then move out. Then move out. How old are you?
I tried. It costed me almost $700 to get a mover to come in there. If
My
I would
dear,
have known
you just told me you gave him $1,700 in cash.
I did.
If you didn't have a key to the house and things were miserable, then you move out.
He made my life miserable. As soon as I got there, I wanted to get out.
Very good. Is there any reason why you didn't rent that apartment after she moved out?
Well, at first, her stuff was in the way. I mean,
What
it's pretty...
stuff?
Oh, please,
Her
you used my
couch,
stuff.
What stuff?
Her couch, her bed.
Well, that's all right.
She-
You can
I
move
mean,
somebody in there. You rent it furnished. What?
Exactly, but she also said that while she was gone, that she just needed a month to get her stuff moved out. I said, all right, I'm gonna start charging you rent. Well, then it was 2
He
months
did
after
not.
that her stuff was still there. So,
Okay.
I mean, yes,
It was
I finally
storage
did.
fee. If I would have known that, it would have been $85 a month to move my stuff into storage. He agreed to leave my stuff there until I could
That's
find a
fine.
place to live.
That's fine. You still owe him for rent, which I don't believe you paid. What else?
And then when she did move out, I got damages of my doors.
Did you file a counterclaim, sir?
I did not.
Then I can't help you.
All right, but how about for my Harley Davidson jacket that she took back from me?
Do you have
He
a
threw it on the
counterclaim, sir?
garbage and said I didn't want it.
Am I speaking to you? Do you file a counterclaim, sir?
No, I did not.
Then I cannot help you.
Okay,
So far, you owe her $900
okay,
on the loan. Got it?
yep.
I've given you credit for 3.5 months' rent, which I don't believe she paid and which she agreed to pay. Got it?
Okay,
Do you have your bike?
I have my bike.
Good. That's all. Thank you.
Crystal Garcia, claims ex-boyfriend Terrell Johnson owes for rent, the down payment on a truck, and for filing false charges of domestic abuse.
All right, you got more complaints against him than I probably have time for today, so we're going to see if we can get through each of the against Mr. Johnson, who used to be your boyfriend. Now you claim he owes you for a deposit that you put down on a truck for him, $2,500?
Yes.
That he lived sort of as a freeloader.
Yes.
But there was an understanding that when you got laid off from your teaching position for the summer, he would pay the rent for the summer.
Yes.
And he didn't.
No.
And then you claim that he filed false charges against you for assault, causing you to spend the night in jail and $1,000 bail.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says the truck was his.
Yes.
He made the payments on it.
Yes.
He says that the charges he made against you to the police were absolutely true. You did, in fact, assault him.
I got a police report, too, Your Honor.
And as far as the rent is concerned, he never promised to pay the rent for the summer. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even living with you in August.
She kicked me out.
I would kick you out if you send me to jail for domestic violence.
Don't speak to him. That's why you're here.
Okay.
All right, Miss Garcia, when did Mr. Johnson move in with you?
Late September of 2006.
What was the financial arrangement?
Well, he didn't have a stable job, and, you know, I did. So I told him, I said, once you get back on your feet, you know, and I'd always, through the months, tell you need to get a better job. You need to get a better job. You need to help me. You need to,
All right, so you need to help me. You need to get a better job. I don't hear a financial arrangement.
Well, I told him, I said, coming June, because we are laid off for the summer, I said, you need to pay June, July, August. I told him that, because he would have a job by then. I mean, you would think in 7, 8 months he would have a better job.
So right now you have no financial arrangement with him with regard to rent.
Yes, I did. I told him.
No, you didn't.
I told him that he was responsible for June, July, and August.
I don't care what you told him. That's not a contract.
He didn't want to write one. He didn't want to write one because he doesn't want to sign anything.
You don't have to write one.
He didn't want to sign anything.
Listen to me. You don't have to write one. You have to agree. Just because you told him doesn't make it so.
He agreed.
He moved out.
No, he moved out at the end of July.
She kicked me out.
And I told him he was responsible from June to August.
Okay, good.
And
that's
he
what you
said,
told him.
I agree, and I will help you.
Let me hear about the truck, please.
The truck, the only reason we got the truck was because I was my credit. I'm the main purchaser on it. I have receipts that I paid it.
Show me proof, please, that you put the down payment on the truck.
Well, I have my income taxes stating how much I got, and these are all my pay stubs that I've been working.
I want proof that you put down on the truck $2,500. That's not proof of anything.
They're in the papers that he has in the truck.
Good. Mr. Johnson, look at me. Who put down the down payment?
We both did.
No, he didn't.
Both did from what? Don't speak.
From a paycheck that I got and her income taxes.
How much did she put in?
Like 2,000.
And how much did you put in?
Like 300.
How much was put down altogether?
25.
Mr. Johnson, let's not play with me, please. Don't be irritating. I get irritated very easily. The older I get, the shorter the fuse I have, sir. So she put down the down payment of $2,500.
She put down most of it.
She put down the whole down payment of $2,500. Get over. Now, who made the payments on the truck?
We both did, but I made most of them.
Show me.
I don't.
What do you mean you don't?
I mean, I don't got no receipts.
You don't have any receipts? Show me proof that you made the payments on the truck. When did you get the truck? September of '06?
No, we got it in February.
Of '07?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much were the payments each month?
$388.
Good. Now, what are you showing me there?
A printout from the loan place showing that I paid the truck and what
She wasn't
days.
even working at the time.
Listen to me. Does that say you paid for the truck, or
Yes,
does that say somebody paid for the truck?
It says Crystal Garcia.
No. Listen to me very carefully. Is that the loan itself that indicates the loan is in your name?
Yes.
And that the payments were made?
Yes.
I'm not interested in that. I want to see proof from your bank. $88 came out.
We would go personally to the place because we cannot open a bank account, or we couldn't open a bank account because he has bad bank problems or something. So I didn't have direct deposit for it to come out of my bank account. So I would personally go and pay them cash.
Listen to me. If you think that I believe that story that you just told me, I don't. Show me from your bank that you took out money every month to pay this $388. Not that the loan was paid, but that you took out the money from your bank for.
Okay, the only way I would be able to pay
April,
that or prove that to you is by you looking over my pay stubs because I made enough money.
I'm not looking over your pay stubs.
Direct deposit. That's the only way I could have got the money from the bank. That's the only way.
Perfect. I'm not accepting that.
Well, I'm not here to ask for the payments for the truck. All I want is a deposit so I can go ahead and have my son and me driving the truck. I don't want the payments.
Fine. You're entitled to your deposit back.
Yes. That's all I want from him.
Fine.
And the money.
Fine. You're entitled to your deposit back. That I believe that you put in. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
She gets her deposit back. You have the truck?
Yes.
You're driving the truck?
Yes.
Are you paying for it?
Yes.
Are your payments current?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Shh. If she shows me that your payments are not current on this truck, I'm going to wipe up the floor with you.
I paid the last payment last month. I didn't know I should have brought a receipt. I guess she has all the receipts.
I didn't ask you whether you paid last month. I said, are your payments current?
Yes, they are.
So you've made all your payments?
Yes.
Since when?
Since like 3-4 months ago.
Was it 3 months ago or 4?
4.
4. Good. Show me.
He was late, and here are the...
She wasn't even working at the time to even be paying the bills on the truck.
Listen to me.
Yes,
You
I
said
was.
you made the last 4 payments, correct?
Correct.
He paid like $300, and then he was late $88.
If you shout out again, I'm throwing you out of here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me about these false charges that you're charging him with.
Okay. 3 days prior to that day that I was arrested, he was not so nice, and of course I have to look out for my son, so I left. I left and I stayed with my mom. And he was drinking. He would go to my mom demanding the keys, making a big scene.
Demanding the keys to what?
To the truck.
You took the truck.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to let him drive it while he was drinking.
But you didn't have a driver's license.
Exactly.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you
Just a
didn't.
minute. You have a driver's license now?
Yes.
It says in the police report that she don't got a driver's license.
I'd like to see the police report. Anyway, so you went back to the house to get some clothes, and?
And he called me, and he's like, I'm going to go pick up my clothes from the truck. I said, okay, that's fine. So he comes in, like, we don't have no problems. He's trying to sweet talk me, for me to still be with him. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't need this for me and my son. I don't need you to be drinking, yelling obscenities to me, calling me names. I don't need that, so I do not want to be with you. And then he demanded, you know what? I want the keys to the truck. And I said, no, you know what I mean? I said, no. And I told him, go get your stuff. So we were right outside my door, and he snatched the keys right out of my hands.
Can I say something?
And I was like, you know what? I was like, why you do that? So right when he grabbed the keys from my hands, I held onto his shirt because my baby's car seat,
You were choking me.
my property was in there. And that's everything that I have earned, and I'm not going to let somebody go and take it away. So who knows what he's going to do with it? I don't know what he's going to do with it. So the only way at that time for me to protect my and my son's stuff was to hold on. That's it.
Ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Well, the police indicate he was injured.
Where are the pictures? You were injured.
The police indicate on the police report where he had scratches on his shoulder.
Those are called
And
stretch
his-
marks,
and
not
his-
scratches.
Excuse me?
Stretch marks.
Scratches.
Scratches.
She was strangling me.
I was not.
No,
That's why she got arrested. She's crazy.
that part of your complaint, Ms. Garcia, where you're asking for compensation for falsely reporting that you assaulted him, that's denied. You're entitled to your truck money back, period. And once you get your truck money back...
If it was work for the DA to pick up, they would have picked it up, and that would have been, they wouldn't have rejected the case how they did. There was no case
Because I didn't press
on
no
him to
charges.
me.
I didn't press no charges.
If I hurt you so bad, why didn't you push charges on me?
Ms. Garcia,
It's not even worth it.
now I'm responding to you. Your case is dismissed. It's over for everything except the $2,500 that you put as a down payment for a truck that he now has. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Roselle Ricotta says ex-boyfriend Jim Leach owes for a loan to buy a car.
Ms. Ricotta, it is your claim that you gave Mr. Leach $4,500 so that he could go out and scout around for her birthday.
Yes.
Mr. Leach acknowledges that you gave him $4,500, but he says it was the return of a loan. This was your boyfriend for a period of time?
For 3 years.
So, Mr. Leach, I'm going to start with you, sir. When did you make Mr. Ricotta a loan?
The exact date was July of 2006.
And what was the loan for, sir?
Unforeseen expenses, household expenses, and also she had a very tight budget in terms of purchasing this car. So I was helping out with that.
Purchasing which car?
The car she was looking for her daughter for.
Tell me how these loans came about, Mr. Leach.
What
do you mean, sir, am I saying something confusing to you? Is English your primary language?
Yes, it is. Actually, I just had to think for a moment because...
Because you didn't expect me to start with you. That's why you had to think for a moment, because you didn't expect me to start with you. Well, your defense is that the money she gave you was a return of a loan. So, tell me about the loan.
Okay. She was telling me she was struggling in terms of meeting expenses, household expenses, and also at the same time in terms of what she was trying to do in purchasing this car. There was a lot of expenses that came up, so it was very difficult for her in order to meet those expenses.
How did you come up with a figure, Mr. Leach?
I'm sorry, excuse me? Yeah. How did she come up?
How did you come up with a figure about how much money you were going to loan her?
Because it was about how much it would cost to buy a car. I figured how much, from what I knew about, though it was going to be very difficult to find a car for that amount of money, but, we're going to try to see.
So you gave her the money to buy this car that she wanted to buy for her daughter. Is that what you're telling me? Mr. Leach,
yes, correct.
That's not what you say in your answer, but let's say you sort of forgot what you wrote in your answer. So you lent her the money to buy this car, and you were supposed to look for the car because that's your sort of strong suit, because you buy cars at auctions.
I have a friend who owns a dealership, and I thought that we could help her find a car through him.
So then why would you give her the money to give the money back to you?
It was her car. She would have to write the check for the car. She'd be purchasing
Not necessarily, sir. You could have written the check out of your account. How did you know it was going to be $4,000?
I didn't. It was an estimate how much it was going to cost.
Show me the proof. Show me the proof. I'm dying to see your proof. Show me your bank statement, sir.
I don't have a bank statement with me. I have a canceled check showing the amount of money withdrawn.
Where's your bank statement showing that this money came out of your account?
I don't. It's a copy of the canceled check, the front and the back.
Show me the bank statement. You were supposed to bring bank statements, sir.
I'm sorry, I don't have a bank statement with me.
That's too bad. You have a bank statement to show me?
Yes.
Give that back to him, please. Thank you very much.
This transaction, which she's speaking of, in May of 2006, because he does have an auction, and I'm a single mother, and he knew I was struggling. He did not want me to take a part-time job, so he offered to help me with my finances, that we go in on a car together at auction, and we did. I put $4,000 in, he put $2,000. He did all the legwork. He went to auction, he sold the car, and for me loaning him the money, I made a $200 profit, which was good for me, worked for him, and I do have all the statements for that transaction. The canceled checks he's showing you is the payment of the $4,000 I originally gave him in May. So that was a totally separate transaction. And I do have bank statements showing it came out of my account.
Show me the money that you gave him.
Okay.
I'm talking about the money for your daughter's car.
Oh, okay.
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Leach has been totally unsuccessful in persuading me that he made a loan to you.
Okay, that's what you have right there is for the transaction in October. And you can see there's a cancel money order that went into his bank account that did my bank.
That was in October.
Correct.
Does this look familiar to you, sir? This is a bank statement.
I know what a bank statement looks like. Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Can you ask me a question?
Yes, can I?
I don't know answers. All I know is proof. I know what proof is.
Okay.
Proof
A canceled check
money...
is not enough evidence to support.
Sir, anybody can prepare a copy of a canceled check.
Okay, what about the checks I wrote to her with?
Show me the checks.
You have a copies of, with her name, with her endorsement.
These are copies, sir. I'm looking for a bank statement showing me that money actually came out of an account.
Can you ask her if she...
No.
Oh, okay.
I think you're a hustler. She gave you this for $4,500. Money went into your account, $4,500. What did you do with
Before
the
that money came out of my account, and I think she will admit that, that I wrote those checks to her. She endorsed it.
Yeah, she just explained to me that there was some sort of an arrangement with the second car. Did you buy another car at auction?
Yeah, there was another and she's made that claim before, and I actually have evidence to support otherwise that that's not true what she's telling you.
Well, show me.
Okay.
Well, here I have something, Mr. Ricotta, in June of 2006, made out to cash. It says for Rosie. Who endorsed this?
I did. It's written out as...
So you cashed it, you endorsed it, and you wrote on for Rosie.
No, I wrote on Rosie, and then I endorsed it afterward.
And what did you do with the money?
I gave the money to her.
Did he give you money in June?
No. In fact, I have a bank account statement of the first transaction that I took out $4,000 in May, and that he paid me back the $4,000 with those checks that you see a copy of.
Okay. So you gave him the $4,500 when?
October 4th, 2006. My
Well,
daughter...
coming up to an anniversary. Would you mind telling me what took you so long?
I originally started suing him in December. At the end of December, I took him to a small claims court.
And what happened?
He did not show up. He claimed he did not receive the notice. So he obtained an attorney. He had the attorney file to set a new court date. So that was successful, and that's what led us to here.
Ms. Ricotta, I'm satisfied that you gave him $4,500. I am now also satisfied that you vigorously pursued the return of your $4,500 2 months after you gave him the $4,500. I mean, I don't understand why he took your money and didn't purchase this car. Is there any reason? Did you break up with him shortly afterwards?
Yes. He felt the day that he came to my house, which was December 1st, 2 days before my daughter's birthday, because I did want it for my daughter's 16th birthday. And even though we had broken up earlier in August, we still remained friendly and we'd see each other now and then. I felt that he felt we were still going to stay together. And
December 1st, he was at your house, and?
December 1st, he came to my house. I said, since you don't have the car in time for my daughter's birthday, I would like the money back. And I asked him if he still had the money. And he basically in turn said I called him a liar and a thief, and he felt disrespected, and he was hurt. He was hurt because that ended the relationship at that point. It was the last time.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, because that's not what happened actually at that time. That night in question, actually, she accused me of stealing money, which I had not done. She was under the influence of prescription, non-prescription medication, and she had a lot of issues, depression, and she was taking it out of me. I mean, I can add a lot more insight, but, you know, it's the personal issues that, you know, that...
I don't have to go into personal issues.
Right,
All
right.
I have to know is, in my own gut,
Right.
is whether or not I believe, based upon the proof that's been shown to me today, whether or not she gave you $4,500 to go and look for a car for her daughter, and whether or not, because the relationship was over, you failed to return the $4,500. She has proof that she took $4,500 out of her bank. She has proof that that $4,500 found its way within a couple of days to your bank. You say it was the return of a loan. I am not satisfied that there was any loan that you made to her, because you gave me some convoluted story that, quite frankly, even you couldn't follow if you were sitting here. So I am satisfied that you did, in fact, take this money in the quest to buy this young lady a car, and you didn't return it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,500. Thank you.
Shauna Ross is suing her cousin, 21-year-old Pauline Ross, for the value of a state-issued check. Shauna claims Pauline kept money that was intended for her.
Miss Ross, the defendant is your cousin. According to what I've read in your complaint, she had had some trouble with Child Protective Services. And there came a time that you agreed to watch her children in exchange for a state check for watching her children.
Yes.
You watched the children. She got the state checks, 2 of them, according to you.
Yes.
She cashed them both and did not give you any money. Ms. Ross says that you only watched the children a little bit. Her boyfriend watched them more than you did. So she kept the money, and she's got some countersuit about you calling Child Protective Services and making some false allegations about her after all this went down. What's your first name?
Pauline.
Pauline, how many children do you have?
3.
You're expecting another one?
Yes.
How old are you?
21.
You have enough children, Pauline?
Yes.
Did anybody ever tell you that?
Yes.
Who else told you that?
Everybody.
So add my voice to the rest of the pack. You have enough children, there are other things to do in your spare time. How old are your children?
They're 1.
You have to think about this?
No, 1, 2, and 3.
And who's the father of your 1-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of your 2-year-old?
I don't know.
And who's the father of your 3-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of this one that you're going to have now?
His name is Nick.
And how long have you been with Nick?
9 months.
Shh. Now, when your cousin was watching your children, who was your boyfriend then? Dion or Nick?
Nick.
When did your cousin watch your children?
She started April the 2nd when I started my job.
What kind of job did you have?
Waitressing.
Now, who filed the papers for your cousin to get the state check?
We both did.
And when you filed the papers, you said you were working, correct?
Right.
And you were receiving welfare.
Yes.
So they said, well, maybe they can cut some of this welfare money by giving you money to pay a babysitter to get you back in the job force, which
Yes.
will hopefully keep you out of the baby-producing business. How much did you receive in checks? Because the checks came to you, right?
Right.
How much was the first check?
The first one was $768.
And what did you do with that check?
I moved into my house.
So you used the money for yourself?
Right.
And how much was the second check?
$384.
And that was a babysitting check?
Yes, it was.
Well, Miss Ross, you don't get paid for babysitting for your own children.
No.
And Nick doesn't get paid for babysitting for your children because he hadn't filled out the papers.
Right.
So who do you think was
her, but not her, because she wasn't watching the kids like she was supposed to. And then April 12th, I got laid off. They cut my hours due to complications of my pregnancy.
Yeah. So
But
how
she was
many
still
hours
in-
did you in fact work?
20 hours per week.
How
After
many
the
weeks
12th.
did you work?
3 weeks.
3
No,
weeks?
3 weeks full time, and then they took me off.
So were you telling me, what state do you come from?
Michigan.
The state of Michigan gave you $1,152 for 3 weeks worth of babysitting?
No, no. You're
Well,
not
you got the
understanding.
2 checks just for babysitting.
Right, ma'am, she was calling in hours that she
Could
wasn't
I-
watching the kids.
Just a second. I understand that, but you have to sign off on it.
I called
Miss
my-
Ross, Pauline,
Yes.
you have to sign off on it. This is yet just another scam. If you don't think that I understand that this was just another scam,
I have
do.
the paper saying that I called and said my hours were reduced. It's right here. And from the caseworker.
Somebody had to sign off before you got the check, because the forms, she fills out the hours, but you have to sign off on it, that she did in fact work those hours. Isn't that the way it works in Michigan?
Yes.
Of course. Works that way all over, right? Otherwise, any babysitter could file and say, I worked 20 hours this week, unless the other person for whom she is allegedly working signs off on it. So if you people don't think that I understand that this is just another scam on the state, you're wrong. I got it. You worked 3 weeks and got checks for $1,152. You know what I'm doing with this case? I'm sending a tape of it to the state of Michigan so they can come after you and take the money out of your welfare money. This was a good scam that the 2 of you cousins cooked up together.
No.
Because there is no way that I believe.
I didn't say I got paid for 3 weeks. I was working full time for 3 weeks. I called the caseworker. Here's the paper, the document showing when I called to say that my hours were reduced to 20 hours per week. So therefore, she supposed to have cut down the maximum hours which she supposed to call in.
Miss Ross, you are not entitled to keep that check.
I know that. I got
So, just a second. So why did you keep it?
Because she wasn't babysitting the whole time.
You don't get it. Why don't you just send the money back to them? You don't move into your apartment with it, madam. You don't take care of your expenses with it. That's not what the money is for. That's what welfare is for. That's what Dion is for.
Well, Dion don't help.
Well, that's your problem. That's not Michigan's problem. You can't keep this money. You get welfare. The fact that you don't like how much you get doesn't mean that you can scam the state out of another $1,100.
I didn't scam. I paid the person that was watching the kids.
Yeah, show me.
And Nicholas.
Show me. I want to see the person who was watching the kids.
Me and Nicholas spent the money together for it, and I paid Lakeisha.
Listen to me. Lakeisha wasn't authorized by the state to watch your children. Neither was Nick. And you don't get paid for watching your own children. Madam, if you think that I'm going to give you $1,152, you are out of your mind. What the state should do is, and I'm going to send them a copy of the tape, is go against her welfare checks to redeem $1,152. And then let them decide where the $1,152 is going to go. That's what the state of Michigan ought to do. So they have to get the money back, and then they're going to give it to you. Thank you very much. That's all. Goodbye.
James Herring says his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, John Chavez, owes for a loan to bail him out of jail. John says it's James's fault he was arrested in the first place.
Oh, that's interesting. Mr. Herring, you and Mr. Chavez share a girlfriend. Not at the same time.
No.
She was your girlfriend, then she was Mr. Chavez's girlfriend, then briefly she was your girlfriend, now she's back with Mr. Chavez, and if my reading of these documents is correct, this would be the lovely Jennifer. And according to your complaint, despite the fact that you had not been together, according to you now, for a year and a half, you had some mail for her.
Yes, ma'am.
So you took her to her house.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you got to her house, there was a confrontation with Mr. Chavez. And according to you, Mr. Chavez was arrested.
Yes, Your Honor.
You bailed him out of jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though he assaulted you.
Yes, Your Honor.
On his promise to pay you back the bail money, which he has not done.
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Chavez says you felt terribly guilty about what happened. You came, bailed him out of jail. There was never any promise to pay you back. All very peculiar. Mr. Herring, did you know Mr. Chavez before this incident?
I met him through Miss Jennifer Berger, but I have not known him prior to her relationship with him.
When did you and Miss Berger terminate your relationship?
January 2006, maybe somewhere in that area.
Is that right, Miss Berger?
No.
When was it?
It's over 2 years. I've been with Don for over 2 years, so.
No, don't look at him. Look at me.
I've been with Don for over 2 years, so it has to be.
Okay, you lived together?
Yes, we lived together at one time.
How long did you live together?
About 2.5 years.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Herring?
I'm a stockbroker, venture capitalist.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Chavez?
Hardwood floors.
What kind of work does the lovely Jennifer do?
She doesn't.
She doesn't do any kind of work.
Well, she doesn't have a job.
She's a full-time job.
Yes, very much so.
Now, you last lived together with Jennifer 2 years ago.
We still share a residence occasionally.
What does that mean, sir?
Basically, she still has a lot of her things at my house. However, she does see Mr. Chavez from time to time, and she goes over there and spends some time, and then for whatever reason, then she comes back and stays at my house. We've become very good, close friends, and so she always has a place to stay in the event that she needs a place.
But you said you didn't talk in 2 years. Stand up.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said we haven't been together for over 2 years.
No, you said you hadn't talked in 2 years.
I didn't say talked.
What?
I didn't say talked. Misunderstanding.
You said you haven't been together.
Right.
In 2 years.
But during the 2 years, I've been over the house. I'm mostly with John.
Mostly with your boyfriend. Now, you live together as a boyfriend and girlfriend?
It's been on and off-ish.
What is your legal residence?
With Jim.
Mr. Herring.
Yeah.
You are three of the weirdest people that I've come in contact with. It's a very, very long time.
It gets weirder.
It's ridiculous.
The whole thing is ridiculous,
Well,
unless there's
absolutely.
something that I'm not seeing here.
Absolutely ridiculous.
All right, miss, when did this incident happen? When you went over to take Jennifer, the lovely Jennifer, some mail, according to you, that had come to the house?
I don't know the exact date. You're on the 7th or the 6th of March.
Of what year?
Of this year.
Go ahead.
And then I bailed him out on the 10th of March.
Oh, what happened when you went over there?
Well, when I went over to give her her mail, I called her and let her know I was coming by. She had a driver's license, her registration to her car, etc. She'd been gone for about 4 or 5 days. So I went over and I knocked at his door, and she answered the door. She came out, and I gave her her mail. I said, I'm going to be leaving. I don't want any confrontations with Mr. Chavez.
Why should you have any confrontation with him?
Because I've had him in the past.
Go ahead.
And so I started to walk away, and she came out and talked with me for a minute, and then he came out and got right in my face and started to assault me. And at that time, I turned around and I told him that I was going to call the police. I went out to my car and I called 911. The police came. They talked to me for a few minutes. Then they went down and talked to Mr. Chavez. And apparently the conversation was that they could decipher who started the fight, so to speak. They didn't press any charges against him or me. However, he did have a warrant out for him, an outstanding traffic warrant for $25,000 warrant.
$25,000 warrant for not registering his car?
No,
Unlikely.
I don't know what it was, ma'am. I think it was a headlight or something, but it was a $25,000.
You must have really ticked off a judge, Mr. Chavez.
So they arrested him.
I'm speaking.
Yes, so they arrested.
I'm speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chavez, you must have really ticked off a judge to put $25,000 bail on you for a broken headlight.
It was for no registration on the vehicle, driving without a driver's license in possession, and no proof of insurance.
And when did you receive this violation?
in 2004, but I was working for a guy that owned a car lot, and I was driving one of his vehicles back to the lot and got pulled over, and from the understanding that his dealer plates were not currently...
What does dealer plates have to do with your not having a driver's license?
Well, I just didn't have it in my possession.
Mr. Chavez, I've been in the justice system. How old are you?
I'm 42.
Not quite as long as you've been on this earth. But a $25,000 bail on what amounts to nothing more than driving without registration for the car doesn't sound kosher to me, Mr. Chavez. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, no, I understand what you're saying, but it was because of his dealer plates that were on the vehicle, and the dealer plates were supposedly not up to current registration. So...
Yes. Oh. So they took him into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me how it came about that you went and bailed him out, Mr. Herring.
I just, for whatever reason, decided to go down to the LA County Jail to talk to him. I wanted to find out why he had such animosity towards me.
You mean you wanted to find out that question? I can tell you the answer to that question in a second. The lovely Jennifer.
Yes, well, yes, ma'am. But I wanted to find out for myself why there was just such anger and so on and so forth, because I did not have any anger towards Mr. Chavez at all. If Jennifer wanted to see John or be with him, I had no problem with it.
You may not, but he does.
Yeah, apparently. So I went in there and I talked with him, and he...
You live in Los Angeles, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So very strange here. Go ahead.
So I was visiting with him, and he'd been in for 2 or 3 days at that point in time.
2 or 3 days on a traffic infraction.
He pleaded with me and begged with me. He even started to sob. He begged me to post bail for him because of his daughter. He also promised at that time that if I bailed him out, he would most definitely pay me back.
Go ahead, Mr. Chavez, let me hear.
Yeah, that's all untrue. You know, I'm not scared of saying that I cry, but I'm not going to be crying to him. All right, that's first off. Second off,
just tell me what happened.
When he came to visit me, he wanted to know why there was such animosity and what he could do to not have the animosity between us anymore. And I said, well, you don't want no animosity? Bail me out. He bailed me out, and that was it.
And when, for the first time, did he ask you for this money back?
Actually, he asked Jennifer to give me a letter, but she never gave it to me.
Why? Why didn't you give it?
I said I wouldn't. I didn't receive it from him.
Your Honor?
He asked me to give him some papers, but I didn't want to get involved. I said, this is between the two of you. You deal with it. I'm out of it. I wasn't going to serve. It was, I think, to serve him.
When was your next court date?
March 12th.
And what date did he bail you out? Do you recall? Do you recall, sir?
March 10th.
March 10th.
And you had already been there for 5 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Had you been in jail before, Mr. Chavez?
Yes, ma'am.
Same jail?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
30 days.
And did you do the 30 days?
Yes, ma'am.
So, doing 5 days must have been easy.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Herring?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe he promised to pay you back. I believe him. I believe him when he says that you said to him, what can I do to make this right? And he said to you, bail me out, and you did. Because I don't understand why, if the lovely Miss Jennifer had gotten her license and a registration for her car, you drive a car? Huh?
License is suspended.
For what reason?
For driving under suspended license.
Your license is suspended for driving on a suspended license?
DUIs. And DUIs. Combination of the two.
You people are all too confusing and I'm much too old.
I got 3 DUIs and 4.
Mr. Herring, you can't have it both ways, sir. If Jennifer, and she's clearly with Mr. Chavez, I suggest that you cut all ties with her. I don't know what Miss Jennifer is doing for you that allows you to believe that someone who is living with somebody yet has an avenue to come back to live with you, you know, as sort of a safe haven. You're a safe house. This whole thing is very, very bizarre. And your visit to the jail is even more bizarre. Yeah. And the fact that you fronted money for his bail is even more bizarre. And I'm a very easygoing, you know, meat and potatoes Brooklyn girl. I don't get all this mishigas. Your case is dismissed, Mr. Herring. That's all.
Damian Ibarra says that foster aunt and uncle, Martha and Juan Hernandez, scammed him for over $4,000.
Mr. Ibarra, how old are you, sir?
22.
And what kind of work do you do?
I'm actually disabled right now, but I'm an EMT.
When was the last time you worked, Mr. Edgar?
11/8 of 07.
And what kind of work were you doing then?
I was working on an ambulance as an EMT.
Did you become disabled on your job?
Yes.
Your lawsuit alleges that these people, who you refer to as a foster aunt and uncle, borrowed money from you and did not return it. Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez say that the money that they acknowledged that they took from you was for rent that you owed them. So can you tell me, Mr. Ibarra, how you know these people?
Basically, my foster parents, who I grew up with off and on, these are their cousins, basically. Well, you know, this is...
So you knew them through your foster parents?
Yes, I did.
How old were you when you left your foster parents' home?
I was about 16 years old.
Did you ever live with Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez?
Yes.
When?
Between January and February of 2008, for 2 months.
And where did you go after you left them?
I moved in with Elsie Vergara here.
And who is she?
She's basically my landlord.
So you moved into her home?
Yes.
And where were you living prior to January of 08?
I was living in South Central Los Angeles.
With whom?
By myself.
Okay. Tell me about the money that you gave to Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez.
Okay. First of all, there was $1,936 that I had sent in. At the time, I didn't have an account of my own because I messed up. I had problems. And I had it sent into their business account.
What sent into their
my tax refund.
And when was that put in their account?
That was put in April, I believe April 14th.
All right, let's get to that money, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez. You acknowledged your account in April.
Yes.
What was it put into your account for?
To pay that rent that he owed me from December through April.
He didn't live with you in April?
He did.
No, he didn't. He didn't live with you in April.
He did live in April with me, Judge Judy.
Really?
None of that is true.
Yes. He moved in the middle of June to his friend's house.
And how much rent were you charging him?
Actually, he's supposed to rent a room for $480, but he only paid me partial rent, which it was $300 even, and paid me until February the other part of the money. It was $180 that he paid me.
Not true.
But in December, when I went to check the house, he was living in the master room, and I don't know why, because he just moved in without my authorization. He didn't pay me, and he stayed there since, until June, the middle of June.
None of that is true, ma'am.
Stand up, please. Tell me your name.
Not one word of it.
My name is Elsie Vergara. I'm his landlord. He's living in my house right now.
When did he move into your house?
He moved in February 2008, the 28th, to be exact. And I have the contract for that also.
You have the contract?
Yes.
I'd like to see it, please.
Take that out. Right here. And all the check stubs and every single payment he has made since then is also there.
You have any proof that he lived in your house in April, May, and June?
Actually, I have only my papers because he is a family. I would never give him anything.
My question is, do you have any proof that he lived in your house April, May, and June?
No.
Well, then you owe him $1,936 so far. What other money did you give them?
After this, I mean, I was very angry. I'm going to get to it quick, by the way. I just need to tell you a little something. I was very angry, of course, because they did this without my authorization. They took out my money, and I was calling the IRS constantly, asking where my return was, and they were telling me that I should have received it.
I gotcha.
And anyways...
They used your money
right, but
without permission.
They
shouldn't have.
They came to me later on asking me for more money so that they can finish a $16,000 job that they said they were going to do, and that they were going to pay me all of my money with interest if I lent them $3,000 more.
Now, where would you get this money from?
I have a copy here of my scholarship that I cashed, and I paid to them. I know it's very stupid of me to do this, but they came to me...
Can I see the proof of that, please?
They came to me asking for this money to finish the job, to pay me the money.
Why did you go to him asking him for more money?
I didn't ask him for no money. He's lying, Your Honor. He's a liar.
Just one second. Just a second. Up. Is what you're telling me that you never took, because I have check with your signature on it. Are you telling me that you never took any other money from him to complete a job other than the tax return? Are you telling me that you never took any other money from him?
I never took any money from him, Your Honor. He's lying. He's making all this because he wants money. He lives from people.
Just a second.
He's been faking what he has.
Hey.
That's a lie, man, but I also have here bank statements.
I want you just to show me a check.
That's just the check that I cashed for my scholarship, man.
Okay.
And,
show me where you gave them money.
okay.
It's over there.
Oh,
no,
sure.
this just says withdrawal.
Right. This is all I have. I have documentation of all of it.
No, you don't have documentation of anything.
Well, I have it all documented down every time because they refused to sign a contract because it was family, they were saying.
Mr. Ibarra, I can't help you with that, sir. You have different withdrawals on different dates, $200.
Those are all, I'm sorry, man.
All I want you to do is show me proof that you gave them any of this other money. The ninth, definitely yours. But you show me that you gave them any other money. This is not proof.
I don't.
Well, then how am I supposed to make that determination?
You know what, ma'am? She was present for every time they came over to ask for money.
What?
And that I gave them money.
That's a lie.
She was present there because she didn't trust them in her house.
Oh, my God.
And even when the contract was made between me and them, well, the verbal contract between me and them, and I had told them flat out, I was very, very mad that I didn't want to give them one more penny because they had already stolen my money for my taxes. They were begging me, saying they were going to get a $16,000 job and that they were going to pay me with interest, and that to just lend them $3,000 more because they knew, them being family and us being close at the time, that I had gotten
close at the time. They had already taken your money.
But they had already known because of their other family that I had gotten my scholarships and everything. So they came over asking for that, and I told them I'll see what I can do.
Mr. Ibarra, you have a problem, sir. Now, you had a bank account, and all you had to do was give them checks. Then we would have no problem. You didn't do that.
They needed the money immediately.
No. Sorry. I don't buy it. Mr. Ibarra.
I mean, I'm not lying
Put your
to you,
hand
ma'am,
down.
honestly. I don't even pay her with checks. I pay with cash.
Mr. Ibarra, you're a very smart young man. These are people who, according to you, had already scammed you, correct?
Yes.
Well,
I was stupid. I mean, they were my family close. To be honest with you, ma'am, one second.
Once family scams you, did you ever hear the expression, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me?
Right.
Right.
Can I just have 1 second, man, please? When I relent them the money, it was right after the time that they had taken the taxes, and I was still contacting the IRS for quite some time, which I have documented here, and they were telling me that to give it a little more time, that sometimes these things take time.
When were you finally notified by IRS? Just a second. When were you notified by IRS that your refund check into their account?
To be honest with you, ma'am, they never notified me that they took the money out.
When did IRS notify you?
This was at about...
Give me the month.
This was in June, the same month that I began lending.
You have withdrawals made in June 30th,
yes.
June 25th, July 7th, and July 8th.
Yes.
So you already knew that they had appropriated your money.
It was right after that.
I can't help you, Mr. Ibarra, with regard to the other money.
1 second, man, please. I mean, they were giving me the runaround, telling me they hadn't got it. And when I finally found out that they had got it, because the IRS finally told me in June.
Well, I got that. That's
right.
Exactly
when they finally told me all of that was when I already had begun lending them the money, and I kind of felt like I'm not going to get any of my money. I got to at least lend them it to do the job so that they can pay me.
And you're telling me that after all of that, you gave them more money, knowing they had lied, scammed you, just as lied, scammed you, stolen your money, and with this very, very careful lady there, you gave them more money. Because most of the money... Yes, you did. That's what it says here.
Not yet. I didn't know those things yet.
Yes, you did, according to you.
No.
Mr.
If you
Ibarra,
have there, I started withdrawing it in June 23rd.
Mr. Ibarra, I cannot help you with that money.
Ma'am, please, 1 second. Let me explain myself a little bit further.
You explained yourself,
No,
Mr.
seriously,
Ibarra.
honestly. I mean...
You explained yourself,
The whole thing
Mr.
is, though, I have not explained myself. The whole thing is that they were very, very close to me. They're the only family I have left, and I didn't want to lose them, okay? So I was being very, very naive. She was trying to knock some sense into me, and I really, really believed that they were paying me. They told me no later than the next month, and so I was lending them the more money because I figured if they didn't have the money because they do cabinetry, I have seen them do $20,000 jobs, and so it didn't seem far-fetched to me at all.
You want to answer him, Ms. Hernandez? Don't look at paper. You want to answer him?
He's lying all this time. He's lying. We didn't owe him a single dime.
No, I didn't ask you whether you owed him a single dime. I asked you whether he gave you any money in June or
He
July.
didn't give me no money at all. He owes me money because he came to my husband asking for money 3 times.
When?
In January, he came and asked him money. And in February, he only gave me partial rent.
Never. I'm not talking about rent. Forget about rent. Stop playing with rent. I asked you very simply, did he give you any money?
He didn't give me
Who are
any
you?
money.
Her daughter.
Get up. Over there. Did Mr. Ibarra give your parents any money in June or July of 2008 that you know about?
No.
Sit. You, up. What kind of work do you do?
Cabinets.
How are you related to him?
That's my dad.
Good. Stand there. How long have you been working for your father?
I've been working off and on because I travel a lot.
How long have you been working for your father?
Since 2003.
Very good. In 2008, did your family have a very big cabinet job? Look at me. 2008, did your family have a very big cabinet job?
No.
Nothing in 2008.
They did have, but not a big one.
What kind of cabinet job did they have in 2008?
Well, we got stuck with the same job because of construction change of order.
Explain that to me.
During the process.
What process?
Because I guess the inspector didn't pass the job, and we were stuck with all the merchandise inside the shop.
What merchandise?
The owner's merchandise, the one we were working for.
So the job that you did was not passed by the inspectors?
Mm-hmm. Lies.
Hey! I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand? The job that your father did not pass inspection, and you were stuck with what merchandise?
Well, our job wasn't even done yet because the other job before that one wasn't done yet. So.
So that you couldn't use because the other part of the job didn't pass inspection. Is that what happened, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
So you had all this cabinetry that you had to pay for. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm speaking to you. Answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was that cabinetry? Look at me. How much was it?
It was during the whole year. It was.
No, in the middle of the year, around June.
I wasn't there around June. I left.
When?
I left around that time.
Then right before you left. How much did they owe on the cabinets?
We didn't owe nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So then explain what the financial problem was.
The job was frozen, and so I left to go do a job in Arizona. I came back, and...
So there was no work for you?
No.
You left because there
was frozen.
You left in June. Put your hand down. I'm getting there. Shut up! You left in June because there was no work for you with your father. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So your father wasn't working either. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now you can sit. Now I believe you. Sit! You didn't have to say a thing. But now I'll ask you. Now it makes my job much easier to believe you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Very good. Were you ever present when he gave them money?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have to know.
That's a lie. That's a lie, Your Honor.
No, you're a liar. No, you're a liar.
I have my papers here.
You're a liar. I'm telling you, you're a liar. He just explained to me what happened and why you needed the money in June. Your son just explained it to me.
I didn't need no money,
Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,800.
I didn't present my evidence. You didn't present them.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Jody Marone is suing her ex-boyfriend, Thomas Matson, for a loan to reinstate his driver's license. Jody says Thomas has 9 DUIs.
He used to be your boyfriend. It's your claim that he owes you some money. You paid off some fees for him, took out a loan to do it. He says it was very nice of you, but he told you that he couldn't pay you back, and it was a gift, right?
Right.
How old are you?
31.
What do you do for a living?
Work at a sawmill.
How long have you worked there?
A year and a half.
How much do you earn?
$13.50. Not very much.
Try to keep your voice up. I'm old.
Not very much.
$13.50 an hour.
Yes.
And what do you do for a living, Miss Marone?
I'm a registered nurse.
Who do you live with?
Me and my children.
How many children do you have?
I have 3.
Aside from you, who supports your children?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
From your work?
Yes.
You have any children, Mr. Matson?
Yes.
How many?
1.
Who supports that child?
Me and her.
So you have a child together?
Yes.
How old is that child?
She'll be 2 August 17th.
He doesn't pay me anything.
You don't live together.
No.
Is there a court order of support?
Yes.
How much?
It's almost $600 a month. It's just started.
I haven't received anything.
Just a second. When did it start?
I just got served the papers a few weeks ago.
Prior to that, how much were you giving Miss Marone for your support of your child?
When we were split up?
Yes.
Nothing.
And how long were you split up?
It's been like 4.5, 5 months.
How do you expect your daughter to eat?
He says that I'll take care of it.
How did you expect her to eat if you weren't giving her any money?
I had enough money to live myself.
Who cares? If you don't have enough money to live yourself, you don't make another baby.
Exactly.
So you answered my question, and my question was, she supports her 3 children, and you pay no support, at least for the last 6 months.
I talked to an attorney, and an attorney told me not to give her nothing until it was court ordered.
So your attorney said to you, you don't have any responsibility towards this child until a court tells you you have responsibility. Is that right?
They'll
No, just a second. According to you, the thrust of what your attorney said to you was, you don't have any responsibility to pay support for your child until a court tells you you have responsibility. Right?
There will be back support.
You've been working at the sawmill for a year.
Year and a half.
Who owns the sawmill?
Dave LePage.
Mr. LePage says to you, we're going to pay everybody once a month, and you work for your month. And then he says to you, you know what? I may be going into bankruptcy. I'm not paying you. Let a court tell me that I owe you money. And in case I don't go into bankruptcy, it would be wise for you to continue working. And maybe next month I'll pay you. Next month comes around and he says, you know what? I'm still not going to pay you. How are you supposed to take care of yourself?
I don't know.
Your daughter is 2. She shouldn't have to think about how she's going to take care of herself, sir. That's the job of her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Both parents. Now, what bills did she pay that you couldn't pay? Take a deep breath. Look at me. What bills did she pay that you couldn't pay?
She paid my fines and my reinstatement.
What fines?
DWI fines.
So you have an alcohol problem.
Yes.
And how many tickets have you gotten for DUI? And how much did she have to take out in order to pay off those fines to keep you behind out of jail?
I think it was around $4,000.
So this is what I have, Mr. Mattson. I have somebody who doesn't pay child support. I have somebody who has 3 children who works and supports her children. And I have somebody who's an alcoholic who can't cover his own fines, but who thrusts that responsibility onto the providing parent. What do you think I should do with that?
I didn't ask her to pay him.
You mean the figure just came from the DUI fairy? The information on how to get this accomplished came from some crystal ball, from some seance that she had?
She wanted me to have my driver's license so I wouldn't get in any further trouble.
You know what the problem is? You know what I'm going to tell you what the problem is. She appears to be a rather intelligent woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she has a credible profession, right?
Yeah.
And she picked this loser. Not only did she pick this loser, she picked this loser and had a child with him, thereby continuing this gene pool that's getting us all into trouble in this country. You understand from gene pools, don't you? You're a nurse. Figure it out. Was he a drunk when you met him?
Not when I met him. He drank, but...
You know, but for the fact that they're his fines, they're his DUIs, it's part of his punishment, you almost deserve it. You know that.
Yes.
The only problem is you have 2 other children, and you brought this loser into your household and into your family with 2 other children.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. Don't do it again. How much does he owe you?
$3104.76.
Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all. Thank you.
B.J. Harris says his sister, Rosa Harris White, threw an ashtray at his car in a fit of anger. Rosa claims she was defending herself.
Mr. Harris, the defendant is your sister.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And it is your claim that she vandalized your car.
That's correct.
You want her to fix it.
That's correct.
Your sister says that she was merely defending her in the process of assaulting her. And she didn't mean to vandalize your car. She was trying to protect herself by throwing this object which accidentally hit your car. That's what she says.
Yes.
From what I gather from these papers, Miss White, you have a baby.
Yes.
And your mother has custody of the baby.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And why does your mother have custody of the baby?
Last year in November, I went to jail because of an argument me and her had, so she pressed charges. I went to jail.
How long did you go to jail for?
Only in a week.
Were you living with your mother at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the child court-ordered placed with your mother?
Yes.
Was there a hearing with regard to that?
Yes.
Did you give testimony, or did you consent to your mother having custody?
No, I didn't even know she had custody. Actually, I received a paper in the mail saying she had custody, and I didn't know why, so.
Were you involved with drugs?
No.
Were you involved with alcohol?
No.
Were you partying?
No.
You mean you just decided to let your mother keep custody of your child?
Well, I went to court, and they kept custody of him, actually.
So you went to court?
Yes, I did.
Oh, well, here we go. So you went to court, and you spoke to the judge?
Yes.
And there was testimony taken,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. You think that they got me in this bench from Central Casting? You think that they actually... I'm here because I did this work for a long time. Do you understand?
Yes.
So after a custody hearing, the court determined that you were sufficiently unreliable, I will not say unfit, and gave your mother custody of the child. Now, the child lives with your mother. Do you have visitation, supervised or unsupervised?
Supervised.
Supervised by whom?
The people downtown, the DSS worker.
You showed up at your mother's home to see your son on what date?
I think the 18th.
18th of February?
Yes.
Were you supposed to be there?
Yes.
I thought you said you had supervised visitation downtown.
No, actually, they just changed it to downtown. I was having supervised visit by her, by my mother.
Yes.
Actually, Your Honor, on February 18th, which is when this incident occurred, she had actually got into an altercation with her boyfriend, who tends to have a penchant for getting in trouble with the law. And so because he had attacked her, she had came over to my mother's house.
Which that's not true.
Hold on a second. I assume that that's what she told you.
Yes.
Then, she doesn't say that now because Mr.
He's
Wonderful
here.
is sitting right here.
Correct.
Good.
And by the
Listen
way,
to
he
me.
is on probation, Your Honor, so I don't even know why he's here.
And he's not allowed to leave the state?
I believe so. We reside in New York State.
New York State allow you to leave the jurisdiction, sir?
No, I'm off probation.
You're off probation. Super.
News to me.
Shh.
Sorry.
Well, 10 million people will know, including your probation officer if you ever had one.
Correct.
Perfect. Now, on February 18th, do you know whether the order for supervised visitation with the caseworker downtown was still in existence?
I'm not aware of that.
Was it still in existence?
Yes.
So you were not supposed to be at your mother's house?
No, I was supposed to be at my mother's house, actually. They just got changed, like, last week, maybe.
Well, if it got changed last week, then you were allowed to have supervised visits.
Yes, I was.
Look at me. Supervised visits in your mother's house supervised by your mother. That's what you told me?
Yes.
Okay. According to what you wrote in your answer to his complaint, your son wanted to go with you.
Yes.
And your mother said you couldn't take him. That's what you wrote here.
I said...
That's what you wrote. My son started to put on his shoes like he wanted to go with me. My brother would not allow my son to go with me. I said if my son wanted to go with me, he could. That's what you wrote.
Oh, yeah,
but
she
couldn't.
let him go with
Just
me.
Just a second. But he couldn't go with you because there's a court order for supervised visitation, supervised at your mother's house. So you had no son, whether he wanted to go with you or not. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now tell me what happened, because after that, my brother then took my son's stuff from him so that he could not leave.
Yes.
That's what you said happened, which is absolutely the right thing to happen. You did absolutely perfect so far, because that's what the order is. Supervised visits at the house. Do you live with your mother?
No, I don't.
You were just visiting there?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
He was living.
He asked my mother if she wanted me gone. My mother said yes. Then you're going to tell me what happened. Your mother said, yes, I want her gone.
Then my brother comes towards me. I said, don't put your hands on me. Let me grab my phone charger out the wall, and I'll be on my way.
He comes towards you. Keep going slowly, because I'm old.
All right.
Go ahead.
After that, he called me a tramp AB, so I called him when we was arguing, actually, when I was going out of the house. He pushed me down the stairs, and I grabbed the weapon, and I defended myself.
He put you down the stairs?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, and you fell?
Yes.
You fell. How many stairs did you fall?
My mother has maybe 4 or 5 stairs.
And you actually fell? Did you fall on your knees? Did you fall on your face? Did you fall on your hands?
I fell on my right knee.
On your right knee. Was it bruised?
Just a little bit.
Did you show it to the police?
No.
Did the police respond?
No. After I left, I called the police. The police said it was a car coming to that address.
You called the police?
Yes, I did.
Why did you call the police?
Because my brother put his hands on me.
Do you have the police report?
No, I do not.
Well, why didn't you get it?
Because the place where I did the police report at, they said they didn't do relatives. So I went to the regular police station. They told me they didn't have it on record. So basically they threw it out, so I couldn't bring it.
Now, just let me follow this. So he threw you down the stairs, Miss White, and now you're lying on one knee down the stairs, the bottom of the stairs. Right?
Actually,
no, listen to me. You're lying on one knee. That's according to you at the bottom of the stairs.
I said I banged my knee. You asked me what happened. What was
No. I said, did you fall on your hands? Did you fall on your face? And you said on one knee. Have an intact mind.
Oh, yeah, on my right knee. Yes, I did.
So you're lying at the bottom of the stairs on your right knee, right? Now you're down there. Where's the ashtray?
On the porch.
Shh.
Sorry.
Do I look like I need help from you?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
All right. So the ashtray is on the porch, and the porch is 4 steps up. Is that right?
Yes.
So you got up off your knee, and you went towards your attacker.
Yes.
Because he's your attacker. He's now thrown you off the porch.
Yes.
So you get up off your knee, you walk up the 4 steps, and you grab the ashtray, right?
Yes.
And then you throw it at your attacker.
Yes.
Who was standing at the top of the stairs.
It missed him and it went to his car, I guess.
Oy. Oy. Oh. Oh. Can I see the estimate on the car, please?
Yes.
Do you live together?
No, we do not.
Who do you live with?
I live with my sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law?
Yes, his wife.
Do you work?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work at Taco Bell.
You work full-time?
Yes.
Do you send money to support your child?
No, it goes through child support. I pay child support.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
You pay child support. How much?
$25.
How often?
It's supposed to be every month.
$25 a month?
Yeah.
Have a picture of the car?
Yes.
I'd like to see it, please. You don't want to say anything, do you?
Nah.
Smart. Smart.
No.
Oh, she hit the roof of the car.
She did.
Oh, so she's standing on top of the
porch.
And what did she say when she threw the ashtray?
Well, as she actually never fell down the stairs, Your Honor.
Just a second. I like the machinations of her story better. It's not
I
truthful.
do too, actually.
It's not truthful, but I got
it. Okay.
Okay. And is that the ashtray that she threw on the top of the car? Perfect. Oh. Charges for the plaintiff in the amount of $326.25. Thank you very much. That's all.
Why does that